Before we actually get started with this video, you might want to turn the subtitles on. That is another way you could get your reading in. I hope you are reading 10 to 15 minutes a day, maybe more, but that would be great. But if you want to get a little extra reading in, turn on the subtitles that YouTube has provided. Get a little extra reading in there. All right, enjoy the video. I don't know if you'll enjoy it. I say it at the end. I'm hoping that it's informative. Maybe not enjoyable, but hopefully you learn something. All right, see ya. Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well on this Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday night, whenever you're watching this. The only assignment for today, April 14th, is that you watch this video. It's probably gonna be about 10 minutes, and that's the only assignment. But I'm asking you to watch the video. I think some people think unless it's a Google form or a paragraph, there's no real assignment. No, but today I'm asking you, watch this video because I'm going to go over some pretty important stuff when it comes to writing a paragraph. And I know that not everybody is feeling like themselves every day. I admit this is a weird time, living inside your house all the time and not going to school and not seeing your friends. So I understand that, some of the work you might be producing isn't up to your best, but there are some people that are producing some outstanding work. And what I wanted to do today is just remind you how to structure a paragraph. And most of the answers on that Google form, I think there are only maybe 5 or 6 questions with Sacagawea and Mark Twain and I'm a Rock. They should be roughly paragraph length. They should have capital letters when appropriate, certainly at the beginning of sentences. Some of you aren't doing that, so just a reminder, capitalize the first letter of your sentence, capitalize proper names. So if you say Thomas Jefferson, the T and the J should be capitalized. And at the end of your sentence, there should be some sort of end mark. Most likely for these paragraphs, it will be a period. Unlikely that it will be a question mark, maybe though, and probably not an exclamation point. We're not that excited about Mark Twain, but you should have end marks at some point. So what I would like to do is go over like a really good answer that this person had. I don't want to call them out by name. I will say that they are a guy, because as I was going through my mind of what I wanted to say about this paragraph, I often use the pronoun he. So that kind of limits who this is. It's 50-50, right? But yeah, so I just don't want to say their name, but they did a great job. And there were a lot of other people that did a great job too. But some people, and again, nobody is feeling exactly like themselves these days, right? So I would never hold that against you, but I just want to, as a teacher, go through some of the great things that are going on with the paragraphs. So this is question number 1. How did the United States acquire the Louisiana Purchase? And as you can see in my question, United States is capitalized because that is the name of a country. It's not just any country. It's the United States. And Louisiana Purchase is also capitalized because that is a specific moment in history. That is something that a lot of people recognize as an important part of the United States. As you'll see in this answer, this person says the United States at the time doubled in size. So it is important, and that's why it's capitalized. And if you remember, the very first thing you should do with any answer is restate the question. And that's what this person does here very nicely. The United States acquired the Louisiana Purchase when, and that is definitely restated. But as we skim through this paragraph, take a look. There are lots of numbers, lots of capital letters. Teachers love numbers in your answer. They really stick out. and they show that you've read the material. Numbers are usually something pretty specific. They're really good details to add into your answers. So when possible, stick in some numbers, and it might be a statistic. Numbers are usually cold, hard facts that are difficult to dispute. So they almost always make your argument a little stronger. So as I'm skimming through this, just a lot of details are popping out to me. So let's read where I left off. When Thomas Jefferson bought the territory from France in 1803, look at, there's an actual country there. So they tell who the territory was purchased from. The year adds a ton of detail. It's very specific. The U.S. paid approximately $15 million for the Louisiana purchase. That number, approximately, is a great one to become familiar with because you don't have to go into such detail. Now, I usually say detail is good, but when we're talking about something like $15 million, maybe it wasn't a round number like $15 million. Maybe it was $15 million, 100,000, 20, 15 cents, something like that. That's just, we don't need to get that specific. And instead of putting the decimals and the cents right down to the penny, you put approximately. So that shows that there's a little wiggle room there, but it's pretty close. And for the argument I'm trying to make, I don't need to get exact. I really like this next sentence that starts with Napoleon. Napoleon then gave up his empire in North America because the French leader was desperate for cash. They totally could have started the sentence with then and put a comma after it, but they chose to switch it up a little bit. And that's a great way to structure some of your sentences. You don't want them all exactly the same. So this person said Napoleon then and separate it by commas, which is a great thing to do. Also, readers might not be familiar who Napoleon is. So towards the end, they added a little more detail, saying the French leader was desperate for cash. So you know that Napoleon is the leader of France. He had waged war with nearly everyone in Europe. That sentence is really important too because it lets us know why Napoleon was desperate for cash. Now, this person didn't go into every single country in Europe. We're not asking about the wars in Europe. If that was the question, you definitely want to go into that detail. But since this is mostly about how the United States got the Louisiana Purchase, you don't want to go into too many details that aren't directly related to the question. So for that person to put many countries in Europe, it's great. Could it be a little more detailed? Germany, what are some other countries? England, France is always fighting with England. Yeah, they could have, but it would have actually taken away from the answer that they were trying to prove. Great next sentence here that starts with after. After the Louisiana Purchase, the U.S. gained control of the Mississippi trade route. As a result, comma, so two sentences in a row that start with prepositional phrases, that's fine. They are punctuated perfectly. As a result, the U.S. almost doubled in size after the purchase. That last sentence, ending with as a result, that's another great term to just kind of put in the back of your mind when you're trying to create a paragraph that's well formed, because you want to have a nice introduction that starts with restating the question. And then you want the middle of your paragraph to be really meaty with lots of good details. But remember, details that pertain to the question, not going too far off in a different direction. And ending your paragraph with a concluding sentence is very important. And as a result, comma, where you state your final case, that's really good. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind, as a result. If this was a whole essay, you might want to begin your final paragraph, your conclusion with in conclusion, or to sum it up, comma. But this is just a small paragraph, and we don't need in conclusion for a paragraph. As a result, works really nicely. Normally I would say, I hope you enjoyed the video. However, I don't know if it was that enjoyable, but I'm hoping that it was informative. So I hope you learned a little something from this video. I hope you have a good rest of the day. Try not to be too bogged down by all of the troubles that are outside. I have heard from quite a few students saying that it is difficult for them to focus on their work, and I totally understand. But I hope you have made it through this video. It's probably about 10 minutes, probably enough ELA for one day. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. I suppose I could edit it so that this is at the front. Maybe I'll do that. But it is a good idea to put the subtitles on, because then it's almost like you're reading at the same time. So hope you are going to have a good rest of the day. Thanks for tuning in. I miss you guys. I can't wait till we are back in the classroom together. And that might only last for a week, right? And then we'll be like, ugh, I want a break. I don't know. We'll see. But hopefully this thing ends soon, and we will see each other before you know it. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.